So let's continue our conversation about racism, and in particular, how to keep the conversation about racism going. And I'm going to use a little segue about a parishioner that I had in my church years ago who I found extraordinarily annoying. And what I found annoying about her is how she would hijack conversations. She would hijack conversations with this sort of one-upmanship. I bet you know people like this. You say something, and rather than them listening to what you're saying, they come back with sort of outdoing what you just shared. And so, it might be that you're in this conversation with them and you say something like, yeah, it was really frustrating because I got this flat tire yesterday. And before you can even say anything else, they pop in with saying, well, my entire engine blew up last year, and they just take the conversation a completely different direction, or even if it's somewhat in the same thread of having to do with cars, it's still derailed listening to what you were sharing about the flat tire. That sort of one-upmanship, that sort of hijacking of a conversation can be unbelievably frustrating, but it can also be offensive. And we see that in regards to this conversation about racism. And one of the most common one-upmanships, one of the most common hijackings that I see in the racism conversation is the phrase, all lives matter. It's not that the phrase is wrong. It's not that the phrase is untrue. It wasn't wrong or untrue that that woman's car engine blew up. But it was the hijacking of the conversation. It meant she didn't hear what I was saying about my flat tire, nor was she allowing me to finish what I wanted to say about it. So it's really important for us to recognize that when someone says Black Lives Matter, and our response isn't to listen, but to come back with, but all lives matter, we are hijacking the conversation. That's a sort of insane one-upmanship that tells those people who are saying Black Lives Matter that we really aren't interested in listening to them. The conversation right now isn't about all lives mattering. The conversation right now is whether we put the same deep value on the lives of minorities that we do on all lives. And so it's real important for us in keeping the conversation about racism going and keeping it healthy, that we listen to what people are saying. We don't have to get defensive. We don't have to come up with our own catchy phrases. We don't have to quiet other people. We don't have to try to tell our story like that annoying parishioner was constantly trying to do. No. We can be quiet and listen, or even better yet, ask evocative questions. Ask questions that invite other people to share their story more deeply. If someone says Black Lives Matter, our response can be simply, tell us more about what that means to you. We can listen. I'd love to hear your comments and thoughts. And have you had the experience before yourself of someone hijacking a conversation from you or entering into that one-upmanship? And how did you feel about that? Did you feel heard when the person did that? I hope you have a blessed and awesome day.